Shalom, family. How's everybody today? Family, we're going to talk about a very important subject today, and it's going to be about the Ark of the Covenant. What it is, why it was constructed, what its future implications were, and also where it is today, or who it is. You know, we got all kind of people writing books saying that the Ark is here. The Ark is in this place. The Ark is in that place. But none of them ever show any evidence. They never prove it. To me, if somebody had indeed discovered the Ark of the Covenant, then they'd have took pictures of it, where they found it. And knowing how men are these days, they'd have removed it and went and put it in a museum and try to capitalize on it financially. But none of them has done that. They just write books. Oh, it's in Ethiopia. Oh, it's in Jerusalem. It's here. It's there. It's here. And none of them ever prove it. They just write books saying it and make money off of it without even proving it. I could do it. Right here in Texas, I can go to one of the mountains here and say I found it and never even show you a picture or prove it and sell books. See, during this awakening, people, a lot of Gentiles have taken advantage of this awakening because they know that our people are eager to learn or wanting to know things. And so a lot of it, they just make things up and sell it. And we buy it without referring back to the scriptures. Now, if people were referring back to the scriptures, then we'd already know that nobody has found that Ark. I mean, they say it's being guarded by some monks, you know, stuff like that. And if it was such a thing as somebody saw it, it's useless now, because the only time that that Ark of Covenant bore any power is when the presence of the Most High was there. Okay? Other than that, it's just a box, you know. Just like when Moses went up into the mountain, well, that was just regular ground he was standing on. But because of the Most High's presence there, it became holy ground. And that's why he told Moses to remove his shoes. See, anywhere where the Most High is holy. When his presence is there, it's holy. And he removed his presence from that Ark one time and allowed the Philistines to capture it. Because I assure you, if the Most High's presence had been over that Ark, when they touched it, they'd have died immediately. If you look in it, you would die. Even the priest can't touch it. Okay? So when the Most High removes his presence, then it's just what it is. It's a box. Just like us. If we don't have the presence or the spirit of the Most High in us, we're dead. We're walking dead. It's his spirit that makes us alive. So you have to understand that concept, family. So I put examples of the parts of the Ark, which you will see. We're going to discuss the colors in the Bible, particularly blue and purple. So keep that in mind, because we're going to come back to it. All right? We're going to talk about how the ark was constructed. We want to go through all that. And most of all, we're going to talk about who Mashiach is. I mean, it's a shame to worship somebody and not know who they are. And you be surprised at the people who don't even know who Mashiach really is. Okay? They believing in this stupid doctrine that's been going on for ages. You know, it's three people. Father, the Son, and the Ruach. Well, I guarantee you, when the sky rolls up like a scroll and you see him coming in his glory, you're not going to see no three people. You can forget that. Okay? So, let's start off with just how the Most High had this ark constructed. We'll go to Exodus 25, and start at verse 10 to 22. Now, this is a very important lesson, family. Now, it may be long, but you can't rush the knowledge of the Most High. So, take your time and watch it. If you can't watch it all in, just mark where you stopped at and remember what you've already been over and go back to it. And make sure you take notes, look up the scriptures yourself. Okay? Don't take my word for it. We need to start studying. Write the scriptures down. Go and study them so that the Most High will give you the understanding of it. Okay? All right. Exodus chapter 25, verse 10 through 22. And they shall make an ark of chittim wood. 2 cubits and a half shall be the length thereof, and 1 cubit and a half the breadth thereof, and 1 cubit and a half the height thereof. And thou shalt overlay it with pure gold, within and without shalt thou overlay it, and shalt make upon it a crown of gold round about. Okay? And you see in the illustrations at the very top of the ark around the side it's called the crown. And thou shalt cast 4 rings of gold for it, and put them in the 4 corners thereof, and 2 rings shall be in the one side of it, and 2 rings in the other side of it. And thou shalt make staves of chittim wood, and overlay them with gold. Now them rings and them staves, or poles if you want to call them, was meant to be used to carry the ark, so that no man would touch it, not even the priests, because they would die. Okay? And thou shalt put the staves into the rings by the sides of the ark, that the ark may be borne with them. In other words, that the ark may be carried. The staves shall be in the rings of the ark, and they shall not be taken from it. They'll just stay there. Okay? That's how you picked it up. That's how they carried it. They lifted it up over their shoulders and carried it by those golden staves or poles. All right? And thou shalt put into the ark the testimony which I shall give thee. In other words, they're going to put the tablets in there with the laws in it. And thou shalt make a mercy seat of pure gold. 2 cubits and a half shall be the length thereof, and 1 cubit and a half the breadth thereof. Now the mercy seat is the very top of the Ark of the Covenant, the lid, the very top. And thou shalt make 2 cherubims of gold. Of beaten work shalt thou make them in the 2 ends of the mercy seat. So you're going to have 2 cherubims made of pure gold facing each other on each end of the ark. 2 angels. And make 1 cherub on one end and the other cherub on the other end. Even of the mercy seat you shall make the cherubims on the 2 ends thereof. So the mercy seat is sitting right in between those 2 cherubims. Okay? And the cherubims shall stretch forth their wings on high, covering the mercy seat with their wings, and their faces shall look one to another. Toward the mercy seat shall the faces of the cherubims be. They're looking down okay, at the mercy seat. Verse 21, thou shalt put the mercy seat above upon the ark, and in the ark thou shalt put the testimony that I give thee. Verse 22, and there I will meet with thee, and I will commune with thee from above the mercy seat, from between the two cherubims which are upon the ark of the testimony, of all things which I will give thee in commandment unto the children of Israel. Okay. Now, the Most High, when he communed with Moses, or priest, his presence was above the mercy seat, right where the two cherubims are. Okay? Now, the mercy seat is where the priest would come in once a year, and they would have to have innocent blood, from a lamb or whatever, and pour it out on top of the mercy seat, on the top of the lid, okay? And that was for forgiveness, of their sins. Problem is, they had to do it every year. See, it wasn't permanent. Once a year, they had to do that. Not like when Mashiach came, he did it once and for all, okay? Don't have to shed blood over and over, okay? The Most High always has certain ways that you had to do, because any other way would have probably cost you your life. If those priests dare to go into the Holy of Holies without blood sacrifice, they wasn't coming out of there. Because then you would be face to face with the Most High and the law, which we can't keep. You had to have something to atone, and that was the blood of innocent blood, okay? Let's go to Hebrews chapter 9. Let's just start at verse 16 and 17. That's where we read. For where a testament is, there must also of necessity be the death of the testator. For a testament is of force after men are dead. Otherwise, it is of no strength at all while the testator lives. Whereupon neither the first testament was dedicated without blood. See, the first testament, the ark, they had to have blood sprinkled up on the mercy seat. And the testator had to be killed. The animal had to be killed. Mashiach had to be killed. He was the testator. And long as he lived, it was of no force. He had to die to complete what he came for. Okay? And that's forgiveness of our sin. Hebrews 9:22. And almost all things are purged by the law with blood, and without shedding of blood is no remission. You see that? Without the shedding of blood, there was no remission of sin. This is why the priest had to do it once a year. This is why Mashiach had to die, had to shed blood. Because without the shedding of blood, there was no forgiveness or remission of sin. Okay? So, we're going to find out just how closely related that Ark of the Covenant was and Mashiach. Now, to the people that's saying that, writing these books, talking about the ark is here and the ark, I've seen probably about 8 different places where the ark was. Now, it can't be in all them places at one time, so somebody or all of them are lying, because neither one of them have ever proved it. No photos, nobody took it and put it in a museum. You know, I prefer to stay with the scriptures. Okay. So, if you got Apocrypha or something, let's go to 2nd Maccabees, chapter 2. And I'm going to start at verse 4. All right? It says, it was also contained in the same writing that the prophet, being warned of the Most High, commanded the tabernacle and the ark to go with him, as he went forth into the mountain where Moses climbed up, and saw the heritage of the Most High. And when Jeremy came hither, he found a hollow cave, wherein he laid the tabernacle and the ark and the altar of incense, and so stopped the door. In other words, he put the stuff in there and blocked the door. He blocked it. Verse 6 says, and some of those that followed him came to mark the way, but they couldn't find it. You know, some was trying to follow him and find out where he put it, and they couldn't. Verse 7, which when Jeremy perceived, he blamed them, saying, as for that place, it shall be unknown until the time that the Most High gather his people again together and receive them unto mercy. Period. See, he said the where that ark is, it's going to be unknown. And these people are claiming that, you know, they've seen it. Which I know is a lie anyway, because can't none of them prove it. Nobody has come forth with proof. They just coming forth with statements saying that they saw it. But let's go further. Let's go and see where it was seen at. Let's go to Revelation chapter 11, verse 19. And the temple of Yah was opened in heaven, and there was seen in his temple the ark of his testament. And there were lightnings and voices and thunderings and an earthquake and great hail. Now this is the vision that John seen. He said he saw the ark. But I thought it was in one of these caves. And the ark of the testament could actually mean Mashiach himself. See? But either way, look what the scriptures say. Believe the scriptures. And not these people making stuff up, you know, for sensationalism and profit, money. See, let's see what else it said about the ark. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 15 through 17. And I will give you pastors according to mine heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. And it shall come to pass, when you be multiplied and increased in the land, in those days, saith the Most High, they shall say no more, the ark of the covenant of the Most High, neither shall it come to mind. Listen, neither shall they remember it, neither shall they visit it, neither shall that be done anymore. See, when the new covenant came, or Mashiach came, that was over with. He said, y'all not going to visit it, you ain't going to even remember it. See, we have to stick with the scriptures and not with man. Okay? Now, the ark itself consisted of the law. Inside the ark, in the body of the ark was the law, okay? And at the top part of the ark is what we call the crown. Then above it, the lid, is called the mercy seat. Okay? Now, let's see if we can't see what's going on with that and why it was like that. Because Mashiach was the archetype to that physical box that the Most High had them made. It was made with him in mind. When the priest put the blood on top of the mercy seat, when the Most High looked down on it, he saw the blood of his own son. He already knew. It's already been predicted or prophesied. This is what was going to happen, okay? Let's see. Let's read Jeremiah 31 and 31 through, I guess, 33. Behold, the days come, saith the Most High, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was a husband unto them, saith the Most High. I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. See, the new covenant. Not like the old. The old covenant, they had the physical law on the tablets. The new is Mashiach. So what's the parallel to it? The old covenant had the ark of the testimony inside of it, the law, the tablets. Mashiach has the law inside of him, the body. Okay? Let's see. How I want to... Okay. The top of the ark has a crown, okay? That's why I tell you, kind of go through the parts of that ark and remember it. So, let's go to John chapter 19, verse 2 through 5. We'll see what that crown on that ark represented. Verse 2, and the soldiers platted a crown of thorns and put it on his head, and they put purple robe on him, and said, Hail, King of the Jews! And they smote him with their hands. Pilate therefore went again and said unto them, Behold, I bring him forth to you, that you might know that I find no fault in him. Then Mashiach came forth, wearing the crown of thorns and the purple robe, and Pilate said unto him, Behold the man. All right. They put a crown of thorns on his head. The ark has a crown. And what does a crown represent? It represents a king. They were mocking him, sure enough, by putting a crown of thorns on his head. But the crown represents that he is the king. Mashiach is the king. See? All right? And purple. The color purple has to do with that was a very important color then, because the people that wore purple was of some kind of royal birth or noble or, kingship or something. And this is why they put a purple robe on him, to denote that he was a king of the Jews, you know. And, you know, they done it in mockingly. We know that. But the color purple always represented that. Okay? And blue, the color blue. Let's get to another color. Let's go to Numbers chapter 4, verse 5 and 6. And when the camp set forward, Aaron shall come, and his sons, and they shall take down the covering veil, and cover the ark of the testimony with it. Okay? And shall put thereon the coverings of badger skins, and shall spread over it a cloth wholly of blue, and shall put in the staves there. See, blue represents the Most High and His Word. This is why, well, let's read it. Numbers chapter 15, verse 38 through 41. So speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations, and that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue. And it shall be unto you for a fringe, that you may look upon it, and remember all the commandments of the Most High, and do them. And that you seek not after your own heart and your own eyes, after which you used to go a-whoring, that you may remember and do all my commandments, and be holy unto your Elohim. For I am the Most High, your Elohim, which brought you out of the land of Egypt, to be your Elohim. I am the Lord, your Elohim. So the blue represents the Most High's word. This is why they covered the ark with blue, and this is why he told them to make fringes with a blue band around it, that when they look up on it, they remember his words, his covenant, his laws. And that's the purpose of it. Okay? See, we have to understand these things, family, because the colors in the Bible are very important too. Okay? Let's see. Okay. Now, the top of the ark, you know, is what we know as the mercy seat. Well, what is Mashiach? He is the mercy. He is the mercy seat. Just as the blood was laid and sprinkled up on the ark, then his blood was sprinkled from his body, okay, to atone for sin. Only thing, like I said, the priests in that day had to do it once a year, okay? It wasn't complete. When Mashiach shed his blood, it was once and for all. He don't have to go back to no tree every year and die again. It's once and for all. Okay, so we see the correlation there. One, Mashiach contains the law in his body. Two, he has mercy through our faith and repentance. Okay? And for those pastors who consistently tell our people that they don't have to obey the law, that the law is done away with it, y'all are really, you know, that's really just blasphemy to me. It's a lie. Mashiach kept the law. He was born at the time of the law. Okay? In fact, let's go to Matthew chapter 5, verse 17 through 19. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled. verse 19. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men to do so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be great in the kingdom of heaven. See, Mashiach's telling you, I didn't come to do away with the law and the prophet. I came to fulfill it, meaning that if you believe in him, you follow Mashiach, then you're not going to be a lawbreaker. If you're following Mashiach, you are not breaking the law because he wasn't a lawbreaker. This is what he's saying. Follow him. Believe and have faith in him. And if you live your life like Mashiach, following in his footsteps, then you're not going to be breaking the law. But he just told you not one jot or tittle going to be taken from the law until heaven and earth pass away. Well, has it passed away yet? Well, then the law still exists. All you have to do to find out the law still exists is step outside of it. Keep breaking it. You'll find out it still exists. Okay? The law don't hurt people who are not lawbreakers. The law is around. It's around every single day. But we're not affected by it because we're not going to intentionally break it. So it has no effect on us. But all you got to do is start breaking it. Or continue breaking it, and you'll find out it still exists. To all you pastors who's leading people astray with that mess. And John 14:15, what did Mashiach say? If you love me, keep my commandments. I mean, how much clearer can that be? How much clearer can that be? If you love me, keep my commandments. He did not come and die for you to keep sinning. Like the woman caught in adultery. And the men wasn't without sin either. So they had to throw down their little rocks and get up out of there. And Mashiach said, okay, well, I'm not going to condemn you either, but go and sin no more. See, he didn't come for us to keep sinning. You repent, then he forgives, and then you go and don't do it again. Now, you can make it a habit of keep doing the same thing over and over if you want to. You're not going to keep being forgiven for the same offense. When you ask for forgiveness for adultery, that means you're done with it. You're not going to do it again. You can't do this every week. You go live like I don't know what during the week, committing adultery, fornication, all that, and every Sunday you go in church and pray. No, it don't work like that. Once you ask for forgiveness, that means you are supposed to be done with that sin, okay? There's no lesser degree of sin. Now, those men that wanted to stone that lady for being in adultery, now, they may not have committed adultery, but that's not what Mashiach asked them. He asked them, which one of you is without sin, cast the first stone. See, sin is sin. They may not have been involved in adultery, but they may have been a thief. They may have been a liar. See, sin is sin. So he said, okay, in other words, okay, y'all may not be done committed adultery, but which one of y'all is without sin? And neither one of them could stand there and throw a rock at that woman, because all of them had done something that's considered sin. One ain't worse than the other. It's all sin. The only one that's worse than any of them is when you blaspheme the Holy Ruach. And that's the unpardonable sin. The scriptures tell us it won't be forgiven in this life or the one to come. That's the one that has the difference, but every other sin is sin. Whether it's homosexuality, whether it's fornication, whether it's stealing, sin is sin in the eyes of the Most High. All right? So that's our covenant, family. Mashiach is the new covenant. He is the ark of the covenant. Everything about the physical ark of the covenant in the Old Testament is embodied in him. The crown, the law, the mercy. It is all Mashiach. He is our ark of the covenant. Okay? It's plain and simple. It is plain and simple. The Most High. In other words, you got to know who the Most High is. And we look at the Hebrew word, we look at the word Yahusha. That means the Most High saves. If we look at his name, Yahuwah, that means he is, he exists. Okay? He is that he is. And so what did Mashiach say? I come in my Father's name. Okay? And the Father's name is, part of the Father's name is he saves. Yahusha. Okay? We can read, I don't know, family. I bet you I can print up 100 scriptures verifying everything that I'm saying. In fact, I'm going to give you a few of them, and I want you to look them up for yourself, okay? So you'll know. In fact, Luke 1:35 said, that the one that Mary conceived in her womb is holy. Who on this earth, in this world, in existence, can be called holy? He say it is of the Spirit, of the Most High Spirit that's being conceived in your womb. That should be enough right there. But look up Matthew 1:20. Then you can go to Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 35. Go to John chapter 8, verse 24. 2 Samuel 22, verse 32. Go to Mark chapter 12, verse 32. Go to Galatians chapter 3, verse 20. Go to Isaiah chapter 43, verse 10 and 11. Isaiah chapter 45, verse 5. Isaiah chapter 44, verse 6. Go to Psalms 83, 18. Hosea chapter 13, verse 4. John chapter 10, verse 30. Jude chapter 1, verse 25. We can go on and on, family. At least 50, 60 more times of the Most High describing who he is. Read those verses, family. Let it sink into your spirit. You got to know who you're serving. You've got to know. The Most High put himself in flesh and dwelt with man. Okay? You've got to know that. Don't keep listening to these strange doctrines. But just search out the scriptures for yourself. You can even Google it. Just Googling it, the verses, there is no Savior but me. on in that vein of thought. Or I am he and there is none else. Just Google it. You'd be surprised at how many you come up with. Okay? So, family, let's be careful what we read in these books that these Gentiles is printing up. They're taking advantage of your zeal to want to know. And they'll print anything. Like I say, I can go print a book. I can go say I found the art. And ain't offering no proof, no pictures, no nothing. I'm just writing a book and say, it's here. It's there. And people buy the book. See? It's all about money to them. They're merchandising the Most High's people. This is what it's come to, family. Please know that. Be careful with what you read. If it don't line up with the scriptures, with the Most High's word, do not fool with it. It will mess you up. Okay? All right, family. I'm going to get out of here. I really hope that you got something from this today. Because it's very important that you know these things, especially in these days here ahead of us, okay? All right. With that, family, I say shalom.